Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new SH Figuarts Suicide Squad movie Harley Quinn figure from Tamashii Nations and Bandai. Now this figure comes in a window box style of packaging. Up at the top you've got the Suicide Squad logo. The box is done in Harley Quinn tattoos and her colors, the blue and the pink. It's kind of split down the middle. Then you've got the figure clearly displayed, and down below you have an image of the figure and the name. On one side you have an image of the figure, on the other side you just have Harley Quinn's name, and then on the back of the packaging we have more images of the figure showing off the various accessories and poses that you can put it in. And then a bunch of writing I really can't read. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now first of all, you do get a little instruction sheet that shows you how all the accessories and everything with this figure works. So first of all, we get Harley's signature baseball bat, and I like the detailing on this. I like the stain work on the wood. You've got some darker colors here towards the bottom, and then it gets lighter in the middle, and then kind of darker up here at the top. And then in red letters it says good night. Then you've got some more markings that look like Harley with the diamonds and the red and black and everything. And then you've got the wrapping around the bottom of the bat. So overall I like this detailing. Now basically to get it in the figure's hand, what you do is you actually pull it apart here at the middle. So that does make the bat a little bit flexible. I would almost say if you're not careful you could snap it here at the middle. So just be wary of that, but they basically did that so you don't stretch the hands out. And I'll show you how to put it in the figure's hand in just a minute. So to get the figure to hold the bat, you want to make sure you have one of the grip hands in, and then what you do is you take the bottom part of the bat and you just slide it up through the bottom of the hand, and it should push through it. It can be a little bit tight, but you can get it to work through. And then once you do that, then you can just plug the top bat back in. So now she's holding it. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to get her to hold it because the top part of the bat's too thick, and then you've got the little knob at the bottom. She also comes with a pistol, and I like the detailing on this. It's the main part of the gun is done with a black plastic, and then you've got some metallic gold highlights, and you've got, I believe it says hate there on the front of the gun, and then the handle of the gun is just white, and it looks like maybe there's a hard to make out, but it looks like there's a little smiley face there on the handle of the gun. So I like the detailing of this, and I think it looks pretty good. Now the figure does have a working gun holster for the pistol. Now the holster itself is actually attached to the underside of the jacket as opposed to the actual figure, and it's done with just kind of a rubber type material. So the gun slides in there nice and tight, and when you have the gun in there it looks good. I do think it would be more movie accurate if they had attached the holster to the actual figure itself. That jacket, which we'll look at more detail in a minute, is removable from the figure, but the sleeves of the jacket are not. But anyway, like I said, I think overall it looks pretty good, and I am glad they gave us a working holster. Now for holding the pistol, you have to have the special right hand. She will only hold it in this one hand that's got the trigger finger kind of sticking out. The other grip hands are too small, so really you wouldn't be able to get it in there, and then the open hands wouldn't hold it tight either. So she basically can just hold the weapon in her right hand, and then you have to kind of angle it so it'll slide in there. But once you get it in there, she does hold the pistol nice and tight. So with this figure you get 3 different pairs of hands and then 1 extra right hand. So you get a pair of open hands, and these are the hands that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get a pair of grip hands, and these are for holding the baseball bat. Then you get a pair of just, again, open hands where the fingers are kind of bent a little bit. And then you get an extra right hand for holding the pistol with the trigger finger and everything. And with this figure, all the right hands are ungloved and has that gold ring on them, and then the left hands have the fingerless gloves. Now, switching out the hands on this figure can be a little tricky because the holes on the hand are at an angle, and this peg, this little hinge peg, will move around on you when you're trying to pop the hands in. So it can take a little finessing to get these actually to get in there. But once they pop in, then they do fit nice and tight on the figure. And then finally with this figure we get 3 different head sculpts. So you get a head sculpt where the mouth is like open and she's kind of laughing, looks like. And then you have a more serious looking head sculpt, and then you have a smirking head sculpt. And I think all three do a pretty good job of capturing the actress's likeness from the movie. I like the skin tone. It's that almost whitish pale skin that you see her have in the movie. And then she's got the blonde hair with the pigtails. The pigtails are articulated on all three figures, so you can actually move them up and down however you want. And you've got the pink wash on the one side and then the blue on the other side. And then you've got the little ribbons, hair ribbons in her hair as well, blue and red. And then you've got the little tattoo on her cheek. So again, I think they've done a nice job, and she's got the makeup around her eyes. So I think they've done a nice job with capturing the likeness of the character from the movie. And then the hair, like these strands of hair, are done with a rubber type material, so they have some flexibility. You can kind of move it a little bit on the figure. So I do like that. And again, I think all three, they've done a pretty nice job with capturing the actress's likeness. And then switching out the heads is easy. You just pop it off. You've got the little ball joint, and then you just pop on the head that you want to replace it with, and it should pop right on there. And then for the figure itself, I think they've done a pretty good job with the overall sculpting and paint applications. I like the little collar that she's got that says Puddin' like you see in the movie, and that's done with a gold metallic paint, as are the zippers on the jacket. I like the detailing. You can actually see the zipper there, so I like that. And then on the back of the jacket, you've got some nice detailing with the gold trim that goes up the sleeves. And you've got it says property of the Joker and some other writing that you see on the jacket in the movie. I also like on the collar how you can actually see they sculpted the buckle there, so I like that. And then she's got the spiked gold belt and the short shorts with her butt cheeks hanging out, so I think that looks good. And she's got the little spiked wristbands, and with these you want to be careful because these spikes are actually done with a kind of a softer plastic, so when you're like switching out the hands and stuff, it's easy to bend those, so just be careful. And then on the front, again, I like the detailing. Now I do want to note that there's a little bit of a paint blemish here on her shorts where you can see the blue from her shorts has rubbed over onto the belt. Not a major deal, and that's really the only paint blemish that I've seen on this figure. So again, I like the overall detailing. Again, you've got the spiked wristbands. And then with the stockings, I like how they look, and I like how you can see her tattoos on the front of her leg. I think that looks good. Now, the one thing that does kind of stick out on this figure is from the back. They did not include the stocking design over the knee joints, so that does stick out a bit from the back. That's probably my biggest complaint with the overall look of the figure, is how those joints kind of stick out a bit. But otherwise, like I said, especially from the front, and I like how they've done it on the knees. So I think the knees actually look good from the front. It's just from the back. And then the sculpting detail on the shoes. At first I thought it was weird how you can see like there's this break between the upper part of the boot and the lower part. But actually I believe that's movie accurate. I think that's how they actually were. At first I thought maybe it was done for articulation, but I think that is actually movie accurate. And then I like the detailing with the laces and everything. I think that looks good. And she's got the high heels with the red heels. So that's nice. And then, like I said before, the jacket is removable. It's done. The jacket itself is done with that vinyl material. Unfortunately, the sleeves are not removable. So when you take the jacket off, she's still got the sleeves, which looks funny. It would have been nice if they'd made it so the entire jacket was removable, or maybe given us alternate arms without the sleeves. That would have been probably a good workaround. But as it is, if you take the jacket off, it definitely looks a bit funny. But I like the detailing with the t-shirt, with the rips and wrinkles and everything. And it says Daddy's Little Monster. And you've got the holster straps that are on there, painted with black and metallic gold. And even though the holster itself, like I said, is attached to the gun, I do like they even on the back of the figure painted the straps there. So I like that little extra detail. So this figure stands a little bit over 5 3/4 inches tall. Here's a comparison with the 3 Multiverse 6-inch Suicide Squad Harley Quinn figures released by Mattel. Here's a comparison with the other Mattel Multiverse Suicide Squad movie figures. Here's a comparison with the Mezco 112 Collective Dawn of Justice Batman and Armored Batman figures. Here's a comparison with the DC Icon 6-inch Joker figure from DC Collectibles. Here's a comparison with the Mafex Dawn of Justice, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman figures. And then finally, here's a comparison with the new Mafex Suicide Squad movie Joker figure, which I'll be reviewing in the next day or so. So articulation on this figure is pretty good. As I mentioned before, the pigtails are actually articulated so you can move them up and down. And then for the head you can turn left and you can turn right. and the whole neck moves, so she can look down about that much, and then she can look up about that much. Now I should note that this actual collar here is actually a separate piece, so if you pop the head and the neck off, you can actually remove this collar if you wanted to. Just wanted to note that. And then with the arms, you've got that kind of socket, ball hinge socket that comes out, that kind of pops out from the figure, so you get some movement, and then you have the butterfly joint, so you can get really good movement there at the shoulder. You've got the back and forth movement, and you've got good rotation, and she can actually, you know, do her arm almost completely forward, so good movement there. And then you can get the arm out good as well, straight out good as well. And then with the shoulders, you've got that kind of circular hinge joint, so you've essentially a double hinge type joint, so she's got really good bending there at the elbow, and she's got rotation there at the elbow, and then you've got rotation at the wrists, and then you've got those hinges, so you've got the up and down movement, or if you turn the hinges, you've got the forward and back movement. She has a midsection joint, so she's got rotation there. She can only crunch forward about that much. She can look back pretty good though. She can look back more than she can crunch forward. You do get that kind of separation there in the middle when you have her look real far back, but again, she does have good back movement, and then you can pivot to the left and the right as well. She has a waist swivel, I believe. Yeah, she does have a waist swivel. Now, because of the way the hips are kind of sculpted, it's not that much of a swivel, but you can kind of turn it a little bit, and you can kind of pivot it back and forth to the left and right there at the waist. Then with the legs, they're attached with that kind of inner ball joint, so she can do the splits about that much. She can get her leg forward good, and then she can do her leg back good. And you've got that ball joint up high there, so she doesn't have a true thigh swivel, but you do still get the rotation up high there. And then she's got, again, that kind of circular joint there at the knee, so she can bend that much there at the knee. You've got rotation there at the knee. And for the feet, she's got rotation there at the ankle. She's got up and down movement, and then she has pivot as well, and no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I like this figure. So this figure is definitely nicer looking than the Mattel Multiverse ones, which is not surprising. I like the head sculpts. I like the overall sculpting and paint detail on the figure. The only thing I don't really like is how the knees look from behind, and then also it would have been nice if they'd made the jacket so the sleeves were removable, either by making the entire jacket removable or giving us an alternate pair of arms without the coat sleeves. But otherwise, I think this is a really nice looking figure, and if you're a fan of the Suicide Squad movie characters, I think this is one you'll definitely want to add to your collection. So this figure is available overseas and should be available soon at places like Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.